on.
Hello. We are so grateful that we get to be together today. Isn't this fun?
Yes.
It's raining in both places, Arizona, where Susan Crockett and Maggie Kuhanik are here in Arizona, and it's raining in Hawaii, where Vima Lamura is right here waiting to talk to us. So we're very excited that we get to involve this conversation that will be spiritual as well as real time.
And what a pleasure to be with you gals. An absolute pleasure and a blessing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, maybe we could start with what do you feel like your purpose is at this time, Vima, to share your knowledge with the world? What's happening with you that is bringing you to this exact point on the video today?
I think just basically being. The intention and purpose of maybe this interview or this video with the three of us like this is just basically a really authentic exchange. And understanding too that spirituality or the state of spirituality is a very palpable and real part of our existence. It's not something that is separate from us. It is something that is vibrational, something that is experienced in the dynamics of the body, as well as the mind, emotions, energy. And so my purpose is just to share. And there are perhaps some things that that may be of support to others and in total service to others. And the beauty of doing this with you is that element of authenticity. You gals are in the world. You're doing things that are very effective in your community. And I feel that there are questions that rise in terms of how to cope with certain things or how to deal with certain things and maybe maintain your divinity or maintain your states of awareness and consciousness. And I can just speak from what I experience to be true for myself, and that inspires you or inspires anyone who's listening. It would be awesome. Absolutely. And even mutual inspiration from you. You know, what motivates you, or what is it that you wish to experience or know? And you know, I just want to preface with everything, this interview or this exchange that we're having, by saying that there really are no seekers. We are discoverers of who we truly are. And as we move through the illusion of the dross, the illusion of the circus, the illusion of the game, the illusion of identity, and what we believe ourselves or have been conditioned to believe ourselves to be, that the true you is actually revealed. And that is a process of discovery. And when you're in discovery, that puts you in the master's shoes.
So I just sort of want to personalize this a little for me. So when I feel like I'm most connected to Source Creator God is when I do my sunrise ceremony, which you're somewhat familiar with.
Yeah, very.
Thank you. And I want to take that and sort of be in that energy throughout all my day, my night, all the time. It's so expansive and so loving and so fulfilling and connected to all that is. And yet, you know, after sunrise ceremony, I come in, I do the dishes, I get in my car, I drive to work. And then it doesn't seem that I can carry that vibration really well. So I'm sort of looking if you have any ideas on, and I do want to say, there was something that you just said, living in our day to day. So maybe when I get in my car, which is like my bad place, and somebody's not driving well, which is irritating, then that maybe is a trigger for me to look at something in my patterns, or I'm just sort of reaching out.
I feel that, we've done sun gazing together when I was there visiting you, and you have your path in that, and that is very fulfilling for you and very, very, very valid. How to maintain it, what I have found is you will notice the awareness that the mind starts taking over in the process of your day. So somehow or another, there's got to be a way to integrate that experience, because the sunrise where you are, Susan, is absolutely stunning. So there's a way you can imprint it, and you can imprint that with the sound. And I feel that we did exchange something like with a hum. So maybe just do a series of 7 deep, deep breaths, a hum, and tap your high heart as you're humming. When you're doing the dishes and you think you are losing yourself outside of yourself in the process of your daily routine, come back to hearing the inhale of the breath and feeling the vibration of the hum and tapping. And this way, there's kind of a memory that's being imprinted from the experience of your sun gazing. This is why I found that sound incorporated with sun gazing is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And you will find that certain patterns will start breaking up as we bring it. It just makes a lot of sense. If you put more salad on your plate, you're not going to eat as much whatever of anything else. It's the same thing. We are not of limited capacity as a plate, but symbolically, the more you have some sort of association with your experience of sun gazing, your experience of your ceremony meditation in the morning, the more that will start activating awareness. Now, when you talk about driving, just be aware, just like I know I fly off the handle myself sometimes too. It's like the audacity. But it's also being aware of the vibration that is rising from your viscera. It isn't so much that you are responsible for what other people do, but you are responsible for how you choose to respond, as we have all heard time and time again. But driving, again, you're taken out of your place, you're taken out of yourself, so to speak, and you're doing an activity and everything is auto response. When those little tiny auto responses become an actual awareness of how what's going on with your nervous system, what's going on with your mind, what's going on with your viscera, you will start taking a little bit more self-mastery. And the way to do that is to breathe. Breathe through it, and possibly even integrate the good old hum. Breathe. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, yeah, don't beat yourself up about the driving. I think it happens to most of us. But as you clear more and more, the vibration of those reactions will start to change. The intensity of the vibration of those reactions start to change. But try the hum. We did a little bit of that work when I was there with you. So give it a shot. Just at the end, just get that, get the sun moving with your, imprinting itself in the pineal. Remember, we talked about the breath, bringing the breath in through the heart, having the sun shine through that, radiating through that, humming and tapping. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Okay, I'll give it a go. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
I do have a question, which is this, what Susan brought up is her personal journey in a morning. And I think a lot of us are combining that with what's happening on the larger stage of the world, where we're seeing really a lot of chaos. We're seeing crazy stuff that just makes everyone go, blank, or we're going to want distractions in our lives. I want to pull away and detach from what I'm seeing in the world. And I'd like to learn how to move a spiritual process into that larger stage that really doesn't have anything to do with my day-to-day life, except when they talk about me paying more taxes or even just listening to how a president is acting really goofy in front of the camera. These are things that are just very, they do pull me into a visceral, angry place from time to time, but it's mostly more detached than being in a car and dealing with emotions. It's sort of this real heavy layer upon layer of the matrix that seems to burden me. I think it's burdening a lot of people because they don't know what to do with this world stage that they're in.
Mm-hmm. Remember one thing. All of this so-called world stage was created from consciousness. All of this world stage can be transformed with consciousness. And it begins and ends with you. So when you say you have a visceral reaction, I think in a lot of ways, a lot of people put a lot of weight and measure in the importance of this. And it does affect our lives on a material level, obviously. And I don't feel that a process of transcending it is necessarily spiritual. It has spiritual components to it, but it's also very, very practical. And that being, if you can, use your breath, notice the visceral reactions, notice the mind that's associated with it, notice the deeper unconscious response to what is being said and done. And you cannot deny the truth that there are divisive agendas in that circus. You cannot deny it, and you cannot deny that it is a big distraction. And you cannot deny that you may feel that this is your life, that your whole life is in the hands of the circus, because it's not. So when you start putting yourself in a place, and I would just suggest start seeing it as an observer, but observe yourself first, and the responses that you have within yourself first. And once you breathe through and pass through that, then you can step back even further and observe the circus for what it is, a circus, because you're really not part of it. And if you've ever been to a theatrical play, a stage play, and you notice that you're sitting in an audience, you get emotionally involved in the play, or even a film, that there's some emotional involvement. There's some piece of you that identifies with that. But when you sit back and just watch it, detachment isn't something that is done because you decide you're going to be detached. Detachment is an energetic observation. You are not the participants, but you are the observer. And when we become the observer, you become more and more detached. This is where the value of meditation comes in. Because in sitting, and to me, meditation is cosmic physics. Even though I've been exposed to meditation practices and a beautiful Gurudev with teachings about meditation, with a lot of very profound teachings and things, what I've more or less assessed for myself, that it is an act of cosmic physics. It is an act not separating yourself, but becoming one with supreme consciousness as you allow the thoughts to move as you are observing, as opposed to jumping on the train, jumping on the vibration of thought. We did a little bit of this when I was there. So when you exercise this within yourself, then you'll see more and more the convoluted circus doesn't really serve you or your life. Now, even if you have to pay bills, even if there's, we can't escape that because that's how the system is set up now. But once you tap into an energetic field where there is more of a flow, a give and take flow and movement, as opposed to the feeling, oh no, I'm going to be taxed again. Oh no, I'm going to, medical insurance, or when you can start tapping into allowing those thoughts, those resistances with the breath to flow a little bit more, you'll find that it can be an easier flow in your life. But it is not the source of your life. It does not dictate who you are. It is just a piece of how we have to, how we need to interact in the world. And another thing is, excuse me for a second, got a little dust in my eye. Another thing is that I think in terms of supporting other people. When I pay bills, I think in terms of supporting other families, of supporting, with internet bills and things of that sort. I think in terms of, okay, this is going toward the people who have set this up, and I'm supporting someone else. So I feel like it's got a unified essence to it, as opposed to somebody constantly taking from me. Or something gouging my resources and things of that sort. It's a really shift in perception.
So it's like, instead of they're taking your money when you pay the bill, in your giving the money, you're allowing almost that light or that transference of a higher-ness, whatever that is, to sort of go into the flow with that money.
It's just a different perspective.
And I want to say too, when you were talking about being in the theater and engaging in the play, it feels like, to me, I totally got that. To me, it feels like when I engage emotionally in something and I'm sort of reacting to it, I don't have my power. I've sort of given my power to that situation, that whatever it is. Yet when I step back a little, disengage a little, and I can look at the circus, the whatever it is, then I can once again, like you're using your influence, your light when you pay the bill, I can once again look at the circus and bless it with a little bit of light where I can feel a connection to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel that, have you ever walked into a shopping mall and they've got the music going? And the second I noticed this once years ago, that all of a sudden I lost myself. I'm window shopping, I'm looking at things, I'm losing my inner equilibrium. Mm-hmm. Although it's fun sometimes, or it was fun, I don't find it so amusing anymore. But all of a sudden you're distracted from who you are. And I feel that when we're in constant observation, we have the capacity to correct and transform, even if it is a shift in perception. And that shift in perception has a depth of energy as opposed to just a mental construct.
Well said, thank you.
Yeah. So, Maggie, I know you've got tremendous responsibilities, both of you do. And the thing is, create a beautiful, I found that creating a beautiful box where you put bills and create ceremony, light a candle, ring a bell, and just envision that you are contributing. That has helped me, in my journey to shift my perception about lack. And it's funny how this is coming up, because right now I'm writing an article about the feminine and economics. And I'm finding that I'm a little overdue on the deadline. This particular article is going to be in the New Year magazine. And I'm starting a column there in relationship to a so-called spiritual column. We're calling it Spirit Space. But I'm finding that it's vastly important to integrate the practical with the spiritual and the scientific. That the connection, the links have to be made. And how else can it be made other than people actually becoming aware of their energy and their thoughts? And even when you get lost in other things, that awareness comes and you get to see. And to me, that is a vital piece of people becoming their own light, their own, how do you say, their own, giving them their own sense of self-mastery. And it doesn't come with an ego, I'm a master, or I am not a master, or I am this, or I am not that. There's no identity to it. It's just very simple, plain and clear and evident. And the body will say everything. The body will show you everything. The body will show you how crazy the mind is. So in terms of creating the whole thing about creating a different perspective about how we're living in this world, once you become in much more, I would like to say, control, or in much more conscious control of your responses in every way. At least this is what I've experienced. The more I become more conscious of having conscious control and really seeing what's dictating my energy and my life in every aspect of it. And I realize, oh my gosh, I can make adjustments, I can make corrections or keep things as they are because they're working for me on some level. To me, spirituality has no goal. It doesn't have a look. It doesn't, we can have a feel of expansion. We can have that sense of expansion. And when we don't feel spiritual, what happens? We're contracted. So it's all a matter of integrating all of our bodies and beyond in that connection. And that sense of openness and expansion is sort of connects us all to a unified field, to all of creation. And to me, the ancients really had ways of doing that had been lost, whether it's through sound, chant, and mantra, or meditation, conscious observation, correction, whatever. So now I feel that there's more. There's more than what the New Age what the New Age movement, New Thought movement brought forward to us. The depth and the texture and the profound teachings that live in the ancient ways say a lot. And you don't have to live in ashram. I found out for myself, you don't have to live in ashrams and monasteries, but you become the master. And I feel that's a whole new wave of experiencing life, is that when you're given tools to take the identity apart, when you're given tools to observe and given tools, then you are the one that becomes the craftsman. So,
well, I had a question for you.
Sure.
At one point, because for me, there's a difference between belief in something and knowing something. And what Susan was talking about is, how can I take my knowing, being in front of the sun and praying, because she really has a knowing about that.
She does.
Into her daily routine. Same with me. If I'm working and busy, how can I keep a knowing that I'm in God's path, rather than a belief that I'm doing the right thing or that I'm really on a spiritual path? And I think for me, there's a question there, is how can I really know myself as divine when really I just at this point feel like there's a belief there but not a true knowing?
I think knowing comes with a certain experiential process. Like Susan has an experience when she does her sun gazing. And if there's one thing where you are able to experience your knowing, but you see, you know when you know. There's no such thing as not having knowing. She has a process. You may have a different way of knowing. Your intuition, your spontaneous intuition, your visceral feelings, your gut feelings. These things are really, really important. In your knowing, there is a knowing. A piece of that article that I wrote talks about, the title of it is She. And it talks about, it's a story, and it talks about her knowing was her spiritual shield of truth. Her knowing was her spiritual of truth, no matter what happened to her, no matter what is going on. And from that knowing, there is a reevaluation of our worthiness and value, and how it's, revitalized through remembrance. So you may not feel it, however, you are the knowing. You are it. You are it, Maggie. There's no, you don't have to do somersaults on the sun to get it. You know it. And it's just a matter of being aware of where your mind is going, where your energy is going, being aware of boundaries, being aware, and saying, this works, this doesn't, reassessing, reevaluating. And if you want to integrate a practice, just listen to a piece of music that inspires you, or go to that, up the stairs by your resort. Go there and feel the sun in you. And then just keep those little things. I know it's very hard because you've got around the clock attention that you have to give to your business. However, you can sneak in those moments and breathe.
Yeah, I think that is very powerful to put into place.
Yeah.
Awareness and intention of your day.
Mm-hmm. So
look at the time at all, Vima. Do we need to look at the time?
A little bit, a few more minutes.
Okay.
And then. But just know that you are the knowing. And believing that you're not gets in the way of that knowing. Everything else that you believe or think that you're not is obstructing the truth that you are knowing. You are knowing.
I had a really good aha about this because I wrote all these reasons why I'm not spiritual, or I'm not connected, or I don't know. Like I'm not telepathic. I'm not hearing voices. I'm not having visions. But then what turned it around that night when I was going to sleep, I had this realization that I would wish that everybody in the United States could open up their mind and see that there's other realities. There's the UFO possibilities. There's the spiritual beings that are around us. That there really could be world peace. And I have that knowing inside, and I wish that everybody had that. But to complete that, I was able to turn that around on myself and went, how much do I shut down? Just like I think they're shutting down. And so I was able to actually open myself more to my own possibilities, realizing that I was blaming everybody else for being shut down, and yet wasn't owning
There you are.
my own ability to be open and awake. It was great.
Well, I the whole take on that really is about you are it. It all begins and ends with you. You are it. You are the world. And spirituality basically is really navigating in the subtle. Really navigating in the subtle, just moving through and seeing what's operating you. And then once you surrender to that incredible cosmic higher intelligence through methods, means, processes, whatever, you will know that you are that, and you are nothing else but that, and everything else is just a comedic circle of circle and cycle of things going on in order to get to the point where everyone realizes they are that. But the moment you take your attention off of yourself, it constricts, it contracts you. Wishing everyone would be that, but that there again, it's an idea of how everything's supposed to look, as opposed to you are the knowing, you are the enlightened, you are the enlightenment, without an idea of how they look. Because when you have the idea, that puts everything back in the box again. And everybody in the United States, everything serves a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. And we can talk about the lessons, we can talk about opportunities, all of that. But I feel the most important thing is to see how you are responding to it. And work with that through meditation, work with that through sound, work with that with the practice, with the sadhana. We can talk about that so that you are able to undress the beliefs, take off the cloaks of ideas, take off, just strip down naked to absolute surrender into the beauty and the effulgent grace that you are. And when you are that, when that happens, and Lord knows what that looks like and feels it, but feels like other than that of absolute expansion, then the world will look a little different. You know, you'll start laughing. You'll start seeing the truth behind everything. You'll start to see that, what other people believe. You'll see what you call the matrix. But all the matrix is just a bunch of mind constructs, and it was created. And you are totally capable of unplugging. Because all you got to do, you've been told you can't turn around and unplug, but by golly, who said so? You can turn around and take all those plugs out and get, you don't need it. And when you start seeing how you do things, because on some level it serves you and it really doesn't, this is where courage comes in. This is where you're willing to step through and say, okay, take that deep breath and fly off the cliff and trust. That takes a little doing. Yeah?
Probably baby steps first.
Well, yeah, it's just pieces, but observation, correction, and adaptation, integration, and you can do it. You can do it. Everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. Everybody's taught how to do this and how to think that and how to behave with this and how to behave with that. You're just creating more plugins. I feel that some of the popular shows and some of the talk shows, that they're opening the minds and hearts of audiences. However, step back and be the experience of it, rather than it all be here, because everything was created from this nonsense. So when you start creating from here, when you start creating from your gut is a really big intuitive resource that is just phenomenal. So lots of stuff. So thank you.
Thank
It's a little visit. Oh my goodness, but it's wonderful. Wonderful.
Where can we get more of this? Is it your website?
More of this what?
More of this creation, more of this connection.
Oh, you know what? I think maybe we should just carry on conversations, and I'll put them on the website, or I'll have it done. I've got to make a few changes on it, but I think this would be lovely. I really enjoy talking with you gals, and I think I feel that it would be a good thing.
So your website is vimalamura.com.
VimaLamura.com. Yeah.
Lots of good stuff there, and her poetry book is amazing.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. I'm so glad you appreciate it. I love sharing. Thank you.
Thank
Right,
you.
ladies. In the meantime, hum away. Love you so much.
Thank you. Same here.
Love you.
Aloha. Malama pono.